I've been doing this a long time, and I'm very confident that we've got enough between us now. We've made huge progress. What I'm going to just briefly point to is to ensure that, when we're addressing climate change and climate justice, that we include animals and animal justice, and we include food and food justice. The solutions lie at the intersection of these three great movements. So there's all of us share these concerns. We all prioritise different aspects of this, but if we're looking for climate justice, we find the solutions at the intersection of animal justice and indeed too food justice. So what do I mean by this? It means that when we're talking climate change solutions, we must include animals. At a very minimum, we must respect and uphold the animals' rights not to be used. They're not here to be commodified by humans, and we know this. Animals have a right not to be used is already in our culture. I would point to Kurt Zuma and the cat. Now, we understand that the cat has a right not to be used as a football. The cat has a right not to be used for entertainment, and none of us anywhere in the country, I'm sure, would support Kurt Zuma and his brother kicking the cat around like a football. So we already understand rights for animals. Those animals don't have to do anything for those rights. They're born with them. It's an inherent fundamental right for an animal not to be commodified. And we must keep animal justice at the heart of our climate justice talks. Otherwise, we're failing the animals. And we must keep food justice at the heart of our talks. Food justice, what do I mean by food justice? Well, why have we got a admittedly slightly out of form Premiership football player having to remind our government multiple times that there's more than 100,000 kids going to bed each day in this country alone without enough food to eat? And even in this city, there is quite clearly abhorrent food injustice. And we know all over the world that there are communities that are exploited for their labour and then excluded from access to healthy, sustainable food options. And if our climate solutions exclude food and exclude people from our solutions, they're not really solutions to the problem. We need to find solutions, people, that are at the heart of all three. Unfortunately, there are plenty. So when we address climate change, animal justice and food justice, we can look at things like, the recent study by Brighton University, which concluded only last year that pilot studies show that we could be producing 40% of our fruit and vegetable consumption by allotments and inner city urban growing. Now, Bristol's already doing this, but we could really step it up, and this is where we really need to support the council. This is why we need to address this issue and encourage all of us, because things like allotment growing and inner city urban farming address food sovereignty. They ensure that communities have access to healthy food. They address climate justice because they ensure low transport, low impact food choices, and of course they address animal justice because not only do we not use animals willfully, but by utilising aspects such as allotment growing and inner city and urban growing, we dramatically reduce the impact on the free living beings too, and we allow wild animals and free living beings a little bit more space and habitat to do their thing. So these are the solutions, and if we're going to do this as a people, as communities, we need to find the solutions that we can all thoroughly get behind. There's other ones, of course, the veganic farming techniques which we need to subsidise and invest in. Oat production, we're no longer having to import 3% oats, 97% water in a Tetra Pak from 1,000 miles away. We can have a UK oat milk industry that can be thriving with investment and subsidies. So we know they've got the solutions. They're not rocket science. They're easy, they're accessible, they're fun, they're uplifting, and they're within our reach too. This isn't some kind of highly faluted moral position when we're talking about leaving animals alone. It's just been fair to animals, It's just been common decency, And I mean, we can explain that to the average 5-year-old. It's not a complicated position. And there's so many options now that really, you know, we shouldn't be struggling to be engaging at a minimum plant-based options everywhere. And I would call upon the council now to act, and never mind waiting for our petition. Why are we not fully behind the plant-based treaty already, 4 years on from declaring a climate emergency? It's not as if we have not been without this information for some time now. So friends, some of us have been doing this a long time. I've been plant-based now 42 years, and I've been vegan, opposed to the commodification of animals for 38 years. And I know, Josephine, indeed, you go back to the 60s, some of us go back to the 60s, and you're reminded of the anti-Vietnam movement in the late 60s, which gathered such tremendous pace, indeed fueled by strong psychedelics and extremely good rock music. But nevertheless, there was a movement that came together at Woodstock in 1969. And I would like to end just by quoting one of those people who stood up at Woodstock over 50 years ago and delivered such a powerful, unifying message. Of course, that was the son of Woody Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie, who sang a very famous song called Alice's Restaurant. I've been singing this song 25 minutes now. I could go on for another 25 minutes. I'm not proud or tired. And friends, who may think this is a movement, and that's exactly what it is. It's the Alice's Restaurant anti-massacre movement, and all you got to do to join is to sing up the next time it comes around on a guitar with feeling. Well, that was horrible. And you want to win the war and stuff, you got to sing loud. So friends, you'll be glad to know that we're not going to have to sing, but we are going to have to get this petition. We are going to have to get this plant-based treaty, not only in this country, but as Pamela noted, this is happening all over the world. And once again, it is marginalised communities that are getting the brunt of this. This is people who have less than we do, who have less opportunities to impact change, and therefore I shall end my little 10 minutes by asking all of you to do your very best. Do your very best to carry this through this summer. Let's carry this through. We've got a big job ahead of us to get 3,500 people to sign this petition. We've got an even bigger job to get the council to adopt the plant-based treaty, and we have an even bigger job to convince people that animals have a value beyond the commodification that we currently exploit by the billion. So please, keep animals at the heart of this, keep people at the heart of this, and let's fight together to inflict climate justice upon all of us, because that's what we need. Thank you for coming together, Josephine. Thank you, people. Thank you, all of the wonderful groups and all the individuals and all the fabulous people in Bristol that are going to come together. And thank you, Anita Krantz in Canada, for starting this, the plant-based treaty. Well done, Anita, and we'll carry this through for you. Thank you.